80. The Israel-Arab War nears its first white-hot year. Every bloody day of genocide exactly as designed by total population war weapon suppliers America and Iran. Hezbollah's massive South Lebanon assault force just joined the Israeli and Hamas leaders' permanent terror war strategy by rocket bombing many little children to bloody bits on their Golan Heights soccer field. Why murder your military opponent's children? Because you have determined to make their grieving, hate-filled parents go after your children for 70 more years. As sick as this sounds, understand that leaders ruled by weapons companies spend their days so obsessed by profit and power that they also can pretend to voters and themselves that their aggression protects instead of dooming everyone's family and their own. Hezbollah keeps rocketing Israelis in support of savaged Palestinian allies who will never stop revolting against unending murderous occupation. American and Iranian military governments perpetuate fallen humanity's 10th war millennia by endlessly pouring their armament gasoline on the Middle East fire. No peace or mercy anywhere across our hell on earth will ever happen until you topple weaponeer rule of the world. To avenge murdered children this August, as after last October 6th, Israel bombed more innocents far and wide, this time deep into Lebanon. Full Israel-Hezbollah war looms, only delayed by remotely possible IDF-Hamas ceasefire, after which both parties plan permanent war resumption. A group of Palestinian and American doctors on a very short break from their Gaza nightmare sent a public appeal letter to the White House, Congress, and the American people, in which they reported that all 2.2 million are now starving and sick or wounded. Beyond the documented 40,000 war deaths, nearly all civilians, they estimate another 50,000 killed by untreated wounds, disease, or the myriad other horrific conditions of total population savaging. Survival and health require 15 liters of water per resident, but only 4 liters are allowed in. Deliberate food supply siege has now achieved its goal, 100% famine. Hamas leaders in suspected hideouts continue to die under 2,000-pound bombs, often slaughtering and wounding hundreds around, mostly women and children. But how else can we be sure that our terrorist leader targets are blown into 1,000 bits? The doctors have lobbied the American president, his Republican opponent, and both houses and political parties of Congress for essentially the same genocidal bomb ban and ceasefire that my miserable opus demands. The universal response they got was vague, mild regret for the massive Palestinian genocide, but our support of Israel's sacred right of self-defense, however unrelated to its Holocaust offense, must never waver. So go patch a few more bleeding bodies and stop bugging us, docs. After my 80 annoying chapters, you know the big picture by heart. Iranian, Israeli, and American leaders believe that 100% of their powerful jobs can only continue with weapons company money, buying essential PR and slightly regrettable slaughter. Should the war leaders dare to stop this killing, indeed the other 48 horrible wars, or even slightly slow war material sales, delivery, and detonation, they're terrified that this would unleash infuriated war constituencies, remove weaponeer funding of their war is peace commercials, to also deny them most family protectors' votes, and embolden war crime and corruption prosecutors to haul them into courts of justice. Is anyone left to stop executives and legislators 25,000 miles around from their war upon and to the end of humanity? Look in your mirror. Who dat? Without your worldwide peace law campaign now, American and Iranian weapons destroy for years much of Israel and Lebanon. Iran enriches finally its bomb-ready uranium. Israel bombs Arab nuclear bunkers and readies its own 200 nuclear missile force. Then America and Iran go to DEFCON 1. Next, Ukrainian forces use a devastating number of American fighters, tanks, and artillery to drive through East Ukraine and Crimea, then rapidly killing 8 billion humanity, as I have repeatedly described. Or North Korea invades South Korea, gets its ass kicked, goes nuclear, fires at America, and we hit them with 80 nukes, which Russia thinks are aimed at them because they'd fly over eastern Russia first. Upon us is human extinction. The first worst World War III, only you can stop, was fully staged when Putin's early Ukraine defeats were quickly followed by Zelensky shrieking for F-16s and attack tanks. Putin then hair-triggered every Europe and America-bound missile in his nuclear arsenal and fully readied his deep underground nuclear winter government. His KGB, not he, now rules Russia. They will kill him and take over the same week that his forces get beaten back without going nuclear. Every American and European leader knew all this 2 years ago, chose restraint, then totally forgot under relentless, stupid, greedy weapons merchant pressure. Now, every one of those world-ending attack weapons rushes to Zelensky's front lines as you hear me. So tell every leader today and every day to withdraw attack arms and replace them with massive, superb air and ground defenses. Paradoxically, we must allow and invite a horrible wrong. Russian control, abuse, and enslavement of Crimea and 19% of Ukraine they invaded and stole, because killing 8 billion to make a righteous point is actually insane horror to the 1,000th power, right? Even World Economic War on Putin risks his failed government lashing out. Just mount total European and American defenses to halt his further advances and explode air defenses until we shoot down virtually 100% of his drones, missiles, and bombers. Then dangle a peace deal that withdraws both sides' nuclear and conventional forces far back of front lines gives all Ukrainians decent living conditions, if not full democracy, under the legal nation's flag, and schemes a European-Russian relationship with just enough mutual benefit to make crazy Vlad sane enough to hold off his absolutely planned murder of 8 billion, including his own people. Since America and the Soviet Union began the superpower atom bomb and missile race after World War II, 100% of their leaders' actions, including fully fraudulent arms control negotiations and total abrogation of the valid NNPT, Nuclear and Conventional Disarmament Treaty, were taken to cement in certain early 21st century total humanity death. Your most powerful campaign to disarm the two monsters, plus China, India, Pakistan, Israel, and Iran, all white-hot, unstable, egomaniacal, corrupt military dictatorships, will take decades. Yet the highest danger surrounds today's war flashpoints, mere years, even months from world nuclear holocaust. Thus, your emergency actions, Americans, Europeans, and as possible, citizens of every other nuclear and non-nuclear nation, must attempt to force specific restraint of certain nuclear powers and conventional attack suppliers well before we manage to destroy their world massacre weaponry. At least 80% of your directed persuasion and political coercion must take on 2025's elected American president and Congress, who must end supply of F-16s, world-class attack tanks, and long-distance artillery to Ukraine. Most of humanity has supported driving invader Putin out of Ukraine to restore its citizens' rights, safety, and integrity. Then Vladimir Putin rushed 3 nuclear generals and 1,700 giant nuclear tactical bombs right next to Ukraine. NATO then planned 1,000-tank Moscow onslaught after hundreds of Russian generals finalized plans to blow Ukraine to hell the minute their front lines broke. Now you must get to work on the Israeli and American governments. Order Israel not to use another single American bomb. Demand ceasefire, hostage return, and 100% medical, food, water, and housing support of 2.2 million Gazans by the massively funded UN for decades to come. Deny both IDF and Hamas the military power to savage foreign civilians, and trade massive aid to real sick Lebanese and Iranian economies for rocket and nuclear bomb fuel program serious backoffs. You're going to have to exert major constituent pressure on every weaponized government to get any of this done. China may not be dissuaded from invading Taiwan, but to this horrific aggression, America must not launch years of massive conventional war with China, risking nuclear World War III, simply because ultimate world policeman and 25,000-mile military avenger Uncle Sam must everywhere wield might for right. Besides, 100 times longer supply lines lost 100 times the wars, right? Finally, our movement must press 100 helpful offers to North Korea to tempt that starving nation's nervous leader away from his increasingly likely intent to attack South Korea, kill thousands of Americans, and drive the possibly crazy next American president to nuke North Korea, most likely ending the world when Russia poorly tracks 80 ICBMs flying over East Siberia, mistaking non-Russian for Russian targets. You must hope that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump listen to the book I'm sending them. They won't. You send them thousands more. They will. You or I alone can't save a single life, but gone viral, working, teaching, loving, demanding, and winning every peace and survival law. Our single bio-family love will save every family whose highly unnecessary suffering and deaths would ruin our day. Then come kill us too. Only your two-phase world rescue saves humanity. First, as I've described, our world campaign hammers today's most dangerous offenders to chill. Next, add a few minutes a day of public intervention to your family protection duties and never stop until we redesign human society and governments to love us, not kill us. You've got to, baby. Fast. Soon. All 195 national governments never have, and without you, never will legally, physically block my long and well-described falling domino chain to human extinction. Why not? 'Cause they're the perps who set 'em all up for the money, honey. Only you, beginning today, can shatter inhumanity's evil, toppling edifice before it crashes down on your family, also ending everyone's world with a whimper and a bang. Only you can force every leader's 100% change to universal human decency and protection. All of you will thus become our lawful new leaders for love. Then, when you finish your little girl's bedtime story with, and they all lived happily ever after, you won't be lying.